Have you ever wondered why safety experts around the world are suddenly on high alert, warning that our current traffic laws might not be enough to protect us from the cars of the future? Today, we're diving into a strange and shocking reality. I'm going to tell you how an electric vehicle that has completely burned out and been extinguished by firefighters can spontaneously reignite from scratch days later. And what's the story behind the strict new Chinese law forcing companies to ensure their batteries don't explode for 2 full hours after a crash? But despite all this horror, we're going to shock you with the numbers and explain why electric vehicles actually catch fire far less often than regular gas cars. We'll also uncover the bizarre safety paradox. How can a vehicle win top safety awards and act as an impenetrable shield for its passengers, yet simultaneously be an absolute nightmare, obliterating smaller cars it hits? How did we allow 9,000-pound monsters that accelerate like supercars onto our streets? And what is the catastrophic impact on pedestrians and cyclists? All these questions and contradictions come down to simple physics and one insane fact. What is the secret that makes a single EV battery pack weigh as much as an entire Honda Civic? Let's find out. Let's start with the elephant in the room, literally. A Ford F-15 Lightning weighs up to 6,893 pounds. The gas version of the exact same truck starts at just 4,021 pounds. That difference is close to 2,000 pounds, concentrated entirely in a battery pack that alone weighs about 1,800 pounds. To put that into perspective, that battery is close to the weight of an entire Honda Civic. Vehicle weight has a direct effect on crash outcomes. When two vehicles collide, the heavier vehicle pushes the lighter one backward. Occupants of the heavier vehicle absorb less force, while occupants of the lighter vehicle absorb much more. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, IIHS, describes this plainly. A bigger, heavier vehicle provides better crash protection than a smaller, lighter one, assuming no other differences between them. Raul Arbelayes, who runs the Vehicle Research Center at the IIHS, summarized the mechanism perfectly. It's simple laws of physics. He added, the crash for the other vehicle, when you are heavier, is going to be more severe. This severe weight poses a terrifying threat to anyone outside the EV. Jennifer Homendy, chair of the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, addressed this exact effect in an interview with CBS News. I think it does present significant challenges for safety, she said. If you think about an impact in a crash with a lighter vehicle, with a pedestrian or a cyclist or motorcyclist, it's going to have a much different outcome than we've seen in the past. She described the outcome as terribly tragic. When asked whether this could lead to more deaths on American roads, Homendy said, absolutely it could. There's not a focus on the safety aspect of this. And the weight differences among current electric trucks are frankly mind-blowing. The GMC Hummer EV weighs more than 9,000 pounds with a battery pack alone weighing about 2,900 pounds, again roughly equivalent to a Honda Civic. The Hummer EV is over 3,000 pounds heavier than GMC's gas-powered full-size pickup, yet it accelerates from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 3 seconds. The electric F-15 Lightning is up to 2,500 pounds heavier than the lightest gas-powered F-150. The Rivian R1 pickup weighs around 7,100 pounds, and remarkably, each of these massive vehicles has easily passed federal crash standards. This brings us to the great safety paradox. The data splits heavily along two different groups. For occupants of electric vehicles, the data is fantastic. The IIHS found that injury claims from EV drivers and passengers between 2011 and 2019 were more than 40% lower than claims from occupants of conventional vehicles. The Tesla Model Y and the Audi Q4 e-tron both received IIHS Top Safety Pick Awards in 2024. But for occupants of lighter vehicles involved in a collision with those heavier EVs, the outcome is grim. IIHS crash testing has shown that when a heavier vehicle strikes a lighter one, the crash test dummy in the lighter vehicle experiences substantially higher and more lethal forces. A completely separate yet equally fascinating factor involves fire behavior after a crash. Here is the surprising truth: electric vehicles catch fire less often than gas vehicles. Fire data from Poland covering 2020 through 2025 recorded 51,142 total vehicle fires. Out of all of those, only 87, under 0.2%, involved electric vehicles. Similarly, Sweden's Civil Contingencies Agency recorded just 23 EV fires among 611,000 electric vehicles in service in 2022, compared with 3,400 fires among 4.4 million gas vehicles. However, when lithium-ion battery fires do occur, they behave entirely differently than gasoline fires. The NTSB has documented extreme risks to emergency responders, including electric shock, thermal runaway, battery ignition, and a terrifying phenomenon it terms stranded energy, in which a battery can reignite hours or even days after a fire appears to be completely extinguished. This is why NHTSA guidance explicitly instructs that a severely damaged electric vehicle should not be stored inside a structure or within 50 feet of one. It's also why China's GB 38031-2025 standard, introduced in 2025, strictly requires that EV battery packs must not catch fire or explode for 2 hours after thermal runaway begins, giving passengers and responders time to react. Taken together, the data shows a complicated future. The exact same battery weight that improves outcomes for EV occupants drastically increases the severity of outcomes for occupants of lighter vehicles, pedestrians, and cyclists struck by them. And while fires involving electric vehicles are much rarer than gasoline fires, they present distinct, highly dangerous challenges once they occur, including the possibility of reignition. Regulators and safety researchers, including the IIHS and the NTSB, have documented these effects and stated publicly that our current safety measures have not fully addressed them. The cars of the future are already on our streets, but the question remains, are our roads ready for them?